contributed to the city, the county, to the students in this area. I appreciate that. My son played for you, both my sons.
My son's plays for him,
Yeah.
so he's coached a lot of kids. You know.
Thank you for your time and dedication to students.
And I like to read this. It's a City of Clarksburg Certificate of Recognition. This certificate is presented to Coach Ron Gilmore and Coach Chris Vance in honor and recognition of your exceptional coaching skills and dedication to the youth that earned the Liberty High School volleyball team its first state tournament championship, as well as setting the record for most wins in a season. Congratulations to both of you, and then we'll name all the kids. I'll let Lily pass these out. I'll call their names. Can Ron come up here?
Chris? Ron? Thank you.
Congratulations. If you guys want to say before we call your team up, if you want to say a few words.
Well, I'm going to let the head coach here talk. She's a good talker.
I want to echo what you had said earlier. Very thankful for Coach Gilmore. Huge influence for this team and for me. Can't say enough good things about him. His leadership, his mentorship, and just very grateful for him. Really proud of each and every one of the Liberty High School volleyball team. These young ladies worked hard. They had a goal in mind. They came together in unity, and they worked hard to achieve that goal. And that means something. That's something very special, not only for Liberty High School, but for the community of Clarksburg. Very proud of each and every one of these young ladies.
Okay,
Thank you.
we would like to start with Gabby Floyd. Aaron, step over the fence me if I say it. Just correct. Aaron Curran, am I saying that right? What is it? Curran. Savannah Patterson.
Congratulations.
Haley Haynes.
Uh-oh.
Does that resolve that volleyball?
Men's basketball.
You're welcome.
Renee Todd.
Congratulations.
Aspen Hicksonball.
Congratulations.
Jasmine Hudson. Maddie McGill. Not here.
Volleyball practice today.
Savannah Paez. Say it right. Destiny Coble.
Destiny's going to be playing at Salem College in softball next year.
Abby Davis. Gracie Jenkins. Kylie Swagger. Reagan Snyder. Addison Nefkin. Haley White. Olivia Lima.
And that concludes the group today. We give them all a big round of applause. Come on down here.
Gather around.
You gotta go get send me the memo, you're gonna wear the jackets.
Are we good? Thank you, guys. Congratulations. Thank you. We're sorry. We'll make it tonight.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, y'all's pitch.
Yeah, that was your coach, not our fault, but no, how you, I want to know what it's LOMA. LOMA. Yeah, will you make sure you tell the coach that's what he gave me? This is what your coach gave me, so this, you all mark it up how it needs to be. Okay. I just type what they give me. No, I need that to see. If there's any other.
How are you? Good, good.
On that, just write it. And then we'll just give them to your coach.
220. Yeah. Kitty gave me.
Did you announce the next bit? Second.
Now, if the representatives from United Way, if they would come forward, we got.
211 proclamation.
Yes, sir. It's all about the kids.
She's like, forget me. Kids are my kids.
Trying to start them young.
I'm scared of Wayne, to see Wayne up there.
I don't believe that. It's terrible.
Come on in here. Okay, this is a proclamation, whereas 211 is a free confidential service that helps people across North America find local resources when they are in crisis. And whereas West Virginia 211 is managed by the United Way Collaborative providing for assistance through West Virginia. And whereas United Way of Harrison and Doddridge counties maintain the WV 211 line, which connects residents of Harrison and Doddridge counties to vital, non-emergency health and human resources. And whereas WV 211 specialists are trained to identify and address the root cause of clients' problems and connect them with a wide range of available resources that meet the underlying needs, ensuring people in need are connected to agencies that can help them. And whereas WD 211 is making the social services ecosystem more efficient in Harrison and Doddridge County. And whereas in the city of Clarksburg supports the efforts of the United Way of Harrison and Doddridge counties and the WV 211 network to provide assistance for all those that we serve. And whereas the city of Clarksburg appreciates the services provided by United Way of Harrison and Doddridge County, and further recognizes the positive impact thereto our communities. Now, therefore, I, James Marino, Mayor of the City of Clarksburg, hereby proclaim February 11, 2023 as WD 211 Day in the City of Clarksburg, and encourages all citizens to join in supporting this vital community service. In witness whereof, I have hereunto my seal to my hand and have caused the official seal of the City of Clarksburg to be affixed hereto this second day of February 2023. James Marino, City of Clarksburg, West Virginia Mayor. Congratulations.
It's about our community. I want to thank Jacqueline Brown. She is our community resource specialist. She answers the phone calls, the calls that we get from so many of our residents who need help and need connected to resources in their community to succeed. And I can't tell you, because they're totally confidential calls, but they're tough conversations to have. And just to know that our residents have a live person to call like Jacqueline and talk to her and probably about some of the most difficult things that they're going through in their life, that's an invaluable resource for this community. And that could be the first step in the process of healing their brokenness. So I want to thank our community. I want to thank Jacqueline. I want to thank Amy. I want to thank everybody at 211, our 211 staff across West Virginia. This is a statewide resource, right? And I want to thank our community for their support. So Jacqueline, do you have anything you would like to add?
I just want to let everyone know that, let people know to dial 211 if they need any social service help.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Good work, Brad. Appreciate it.
Approval of minutes of the regular session of December 15, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Approved.
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of January 5, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Chris Lane of 317 Buchanan Avenue wishes to address council.
How's everybody this evening?
Great.
Looks like we got a lot of good things going on in our little community. One touch base, since we'd spoken last, here at the last meeting. Steve, appreciate the caller, actually I called earlier today. Looks like we'll have a meeting here in a few short weeks, so appreciate everyone's time to make that happen. But also, since I was here and spoke last, a few other members of our neighborhoods actually reached out to me and shared some of their stories and some of the issues that they've been having since the storm drain system was put in place. There's some other residents that's also been experiencing flooding, one of which has been experiencing flooding within their basement as a result from it. So I've met with a few of them, looked at some of the sites, reviewed some of it, and I'm gonna try to put together as much information I can to be able to bring to the meeting to share and review that with everybody. That being said, noticed something in the newspaper there earlier this week. It's probably a larger issue than the issue we're having over at Spring. And it's, well, actually it's also an issue we're having in Spring is some of the lead water lines and the city's and the water board's plan to replace lead water lines in our community. It's my understanding that this evening there's a resolution to amend sections 5, 25, and 38 of the city charter on the agenda this evening to address issues that could potentially prevent that water project from executing. I haven't did a whole lot of research on it. I just seen this a couple days ago, so I've put together a little bit since then. But some of my concerns being a resident over there, having small children, lead lines is not desirable to have my water source come from. Would like to see the project come to fruition. Understand it's a large project. I think 80-some plus $1 million is being spent on it. And I believe there's, rate adjustments that was already approved and passed where, we are or will be paying higher water rates to help support the project. And I'm fine with doing that to be able to have safer water lines. My understanding, the issue right there circles around to a charter change that was voted on in 21. And I vaguely recall the charter change, whenever it was put up for vote, is to make things more convenient for voters to be able to come out and vote on city elections along with county elections. And I think it's a really good idea to streamline things, make it happen quicker, more efficient, in more consolidated places. My concern is that Now, after reviewing it and reviewing what information I could find on it, it appears that the term length for council members elected in 2019 was extended for a year. And in the newspaper article that I read earlier this week, it quoted the mayor saying that people voted for the charter change in 2021. And that was so, right down here, that was intended to get more people involved with the election. I agree with that. I think it's a fair statement. I think having the city elections with the county elections would get a lot more people involved, more voters involved, and would help the overall process. The one concern I had with the quote mention is right here it's quoted, says the context of it is so you cannot extend your term to office once you're in office, but in order to realign the terms to get them to even years, the people who were elected in 2019 were given an additional year. That's the only way we knew how to align it with the county. So my understanding that the only way to align it with an even year was be to extend it for a year. At least that's the way I'm reading the quote. And I'm not expert in elections, not like expert in government, but common sense tells me another way to align it with even years would be to shorten it a year as opposed to extending it. So I think that might have been a potential solution available at the time that wasn't executed. The larger concern that I have with the extension of the terms is that, West Virginia Constitution, I believe it's Article 6, Section 37, provides that no law shall be passed after the election of any public office which shall operate to extend the term of this office. So I think that particular section right there is probably, my opinion, my knowledge of bonds and the issuing of bonds and the security and the validity of bonds is if there's an issue raised about the constitutional right of the amendment to begin with, whether it was legitimate to be passed or legitimate to be put before the voters, that would make it challenging for any bond counsel or anybody looking to assist with issuing the bond, help that bond go through. And it's my understanding that if the bond's not received, then the lead line project might not happen, which would be very detrimental, I believe, to me, my family, and the overall community. So I would encourage and would hope that the resolutions put before council this evening looking to address and correct the amendment that was put in place would be passed, and that would correct all the issues to hopefully allow for the bond to be issued and for that project to move forward. I think that project's a big asset for the city. It's a big asset to the residents, and I think it'll be very helpful. In the event, though, that it's not passed, I would be curious to learn more about the original amendment. Like I said, I haven't had much time to research it, nor have I had much material to research on. So with that in mind, would like, if I can, Ms. Matt here, a couple folios right here for the original project amendments, and then anything on concerns around the bonds that may have been already discussed. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Tim Stranko, Clarksburg Water Board, wishes to address council concerning the bond issue and water bill project.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilors. My name is Tim Stranko. I'm a member of the West Virginia Bar and happy and proud to serve as general counsel for the Water Board, Clarksburg Water Board. Our general manager is here tonight, Jason Myers, and also a bond counsel from Steptoe and Johnson, Tom Amon, is here tonight as well. I won't elaborate much on the prior speaker, and we already talked about this in work session, but this is a $90 million project that will reinvigorate our infrastructure here in Clarksburg and bring that money and economic activity into town. So it is a remarkable project. I served as a public member of the Infrastructure Council for a number of years. So I've seen projects from all over the state. This is a landmark in the history of West Virginia infrastructure funding. And my compliments to Jason for putting together a funding package that really is remarkable in its generosity and low interest rates and grants that will help us remake our water infrastructure. And to do that, we need your help with the charter amendments. I'm happy to report, we discussed after your work session, we discussed with bond counsel the amendments that Councilor Worth mentioned, and bond counsel finds those to be appropriate. So we have, the water board has no objections, not the bond counsel also endorses those. And there's also a typo I know your city attorney is aware of as well. And I would like to say in conclusion and thank the city attorney for his hard work on this. As a team, the water board and the city are going to go forward and rebuild our water infrastructure. And we're very excited about that. So I thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor. Subject to any questions.
Thank you.
City managers report and update.
City Manager's Report, February 2nd, 2023. From the Manager's Office, I would like to thank all department heads for their hard work and dedication in submitting a conservative budget proposals. Economic Development completed its first URA workshop meeting on January 31st. Economic Development would also like to announce the City of Clarksburg has been awarded a U.S. Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Grants for All Roads for All grants in the amount of $200,000. This grant has a 20% or $50,000 match and will address a two-way traffic study and bicycle pedestrian infrastructure planning. Job well done to Brittany and her coworkers. From the Police Department, 4 new officers started the West Virginia State Police Academy on January 30th with a tentative graduation date of May. The Police Department responded to 1,596 calls for service in the month of January. Officers Jason Bartlett and Brett Levine were promoted to the rank of sergeant, and Sergeant Chad Travis was promoted to the rank of lieutenant on February 1st. From the city parks, the National Park Service still has our grant application for the pickleball courts and will continue to process it. We hope to have a decision within the next few weeks. The AMP step lights have been delivered and will be installed as weather permits. And the city parks assisted the town of Winter Fork with a repair of a catch basin at the Clarksburg City Park. From the wastewater treatment plant, the discharge monitor report was submitted for the month of January 2023 with no violations to report. The process treated approximately 350 million gallons of wastewater. Main raw pump number 1 was shipped out Wednesday, February 1st for repairs. Planning for phase 5 of long-term control plan is still ongoing, and Daniel Brim recently took his Class 1 wastewater exam and has successfully passed his test. Congratulations, Daniel. From the fire department. The fire department responded to 249 calls for service for the month of January. They also assisted the West Virginia Quick Response Team with a Narcan distribution location site at Central Fire Station. Congratulations to Lieutenant Jeffrey Rogers on his retirement on January 15th. Lieutenant Rogers completed 25 years of service to the city of Clarksburg. From the Robertson Grant Performing Arts, the Robertson Grant will have 5 public events for the month of February. On February 3rd, Anthony Nunziati concert. On February 12th, the Black Panther movie. February 16th, Cross the River musical. February 18th, Michael Palisak stand up. And on February 25th, Forever Tina concert. Several private events are scheduled, and we will be hosting a fundraising event, a school thespian festival, a family party, and a musical performance for school students. We are currently working on reducing our phone and internet fees. More information to follow. From Code Enforcement issued 29 building permits for a total job cost of $339,503.40. 40 NOVs, 1 citation, 3 condemnation orders, 18 inspections, and 32 animal control complaints. 11 properties were checked to clear vagrants. Patrol area checks resulted in 11 entry letters, 6 vehicles tagged, and 6 yellow tags on doors. From the Finance Department, the Finance Department reports the following demolition payments. $3,531.89. Payment agreements of $605. Grass and weeds, $837.80. Board ups, $417.50. Vacant property registrations of $1,342.80. Fire service fees of $391,831.87. B&O tax of $1,268,091.48. 13 new business license and 4 business license renewals. From Public Works, crews were patching streets in the neighborhoods, litter pickup along Baltimore Avenue, 12th Street, Milford Street, Tuna Street, and Ohio Avenue. They responded to 4 notices of violation, secured 3 vacant structures, responded to 7 see it, click it, fix it complaints, and installed courthouse-only parking signs, handicapped in yellow paint on 3rd Street near the new courthouse annex. That concludes my report.
City Clerk's information, a zoning form in connection with the notice of application to operate a private club, private wine restaurant, and tavern was filed by World Global Logistic LLC of 1111 North 15th Street, Clarksburg, and returned to the applicant on January 26, 2023. No unfinished business, new business, public hearing regarding the 2022 comprehensive plan. Carolyn, yay.
I will open up the public hearing for the comprehensive plan. We'll let Carolyn speak on this.
Technical difficulties.
No pressure, Paul. We're all watching. Time for an update. English.
Song and dance one.
Get a microphone.
Thank you very much for the time this evening. As part of the public hearing, I just wanted to introduce a few things about this project. The first being, my name is CAROLYN. I'm with Environmental Planning and Design, and over the course of the last year, been working with John and all of the stakeholders throughout this process that have participated. And we have had quite an opportunity to hear from hundreds of residents and business owners. And as part of the public hearing record, I would like to identify there have been quite a number of points of outreach and drafts that have been developed as part of this work. There have been a series of neighborhood workshops. Those were sort of the core element from the public outreach. And one of the ones that sort of kicked this off was actually back in December of 2021, where we started to distribute all the information and the way in which people could participate. We were part of the Winter Fest activities and then geared up so that we could start this series in May of 2022. We also then met with folks in July as part of the second series of neighborhood workshops, and as from taking the information that we had in May, started to conceptualize really what the areas of focus of the plan would possibly be and where the areas of interest from the residents and the business owners were. And we'll get to those very soon. The last round of outreach was in September, and we were part of things happening right here, right nearby, and again, being able to reach out to people. So of all of the things that were discussed, if they could pick one and identify that there was a particular focus area or project within that focus area, what would it be? So as we pulled all of those ideas together, there have been a series of 4 drafts that have been available to the public as part of this fall, late summer and fall. And the approach was to do 4 things. 1, build on the character and the assets that you have. Secondly, we're trying to consider really what are the top priorities of the many things that people have an idea about doing and how can they collectively come together. I think a few of the things earlier on the agenda this evening are even highlighting how there is the focus to come in to think about different areas of connectivity, mobility, infrastructure, and all those kinds of things. The plan looks at certain items of those and even more. So the third component of that is what is realistic in terms of the set of 4 goals that ultimately have come out of the plan. And then how through the next 10 years, as this plan will be moving forward, that actionable set of steps. So from those 4 areas of focus, there are, I would say, 4 simple verbs. But these verbs mean quite a bit. The first one is to reclaim vitality, reclaim. The second one is to embrace in terms of the resources that are here within Clarksburg. The third is looking at nurturing, again, bringing together people, the neighborhoods, all of the physical improvements that you all have a component of caring for and being part of those decisions day after day and year after year. And then fourthly, thinking about how to strengthen the abilities of all the elements of communication and those lines of communication so that as you move forward with your actions, you're able to get the kind of feedback that you desire and people are able to participate in that process as well. So each of these 4 goals then identifies within the plan a series of broad actions, and then those actions are further identified. Some of the ones that moved up to the top based upon all of the feedback that we received did focus on looking at, again, that vitality piece, both from a physical planning perspective and probably more along that element of a baseline, and to support the physical aspect is looking at what the policies are. So actually considering a rehaul of the ordinances that guide the scale and the character of development so that you can embrace, again, all of the assets and highlight the things that you like to highlight. Looking into also the second action, there were things here that consider, again, what are your existing resources and the ways in which those resources actually are a component of economic development. So well beyond just downtown, you have lots of things happening from whether it's a parks and recreation or an open space perspective. How does that network of natural resources serve as a large asset to the people here and visiting? And what does that mean in terms of actually furthering your economic development opportunities? Thirdly, in terms of considering elements of maintenance or mitigations, and then also the complement to that, the code enforcement piece. And lastly, again, thinking about all of this coming together, and again, the word that is getting out and the feedback that is coming in, so that is something that moves everyone together in a positive and forward-moving step. So with that, there is one element within the comprehensive plan that sort of takes these ideas and starts to highlight the possibilities of how and to what extent these actions can come into play. Some of them are citywide. Some of them have a particular focus or certain areas or certain neighborhoods. And when we were considering each of these areas of the neighborhoods coming together, there are certain ones that different areas, different neighborhoods have an interest in highlighting, different points of the plan. So while there is one plan for the city-wide, there are almost subsets to this. So as you all have the opportunity to be in parts of the neighborhoods or those neighborhoods coming together, the kinds of funding that you would ultimately be pursuing or considering in the ways in which they could affect different neighborhoods and even you're adjoining, I think, areas right beyond, the city boundaries. So quite a number of partners, some of those partners, even the United Way, right, was here this evening doing different things sort of on that daily level, and the ways in which a number of people can come together. The component of this comprehensive plan in terms of its actions and the potential partners is definitely a blend of both public and private partnerships, and being able, again, to strengthen those kinds of relationships and those kinds of actions so that you can, again, move forward through the coming decade. So this is a quick overview for the matter of the public hearing in terms of the things explored within the comprehensive plan, and I do want to ensure that there is other time for others to ask questions or participate as part of this. So if you want me to, I can put the mic back and offer anyone else out an opportunity to speak on it, or if you have other questions, I can get to that after others have had a chance.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak on this comprehensive plan? With not, council, I'll open it up. Anybody on council have any questions? I think we decided that we would have a work session for the council at a later point where if you could come back and we could go in real depth with this to update council. It's kind of, we haven't seen anything up until this point. I think we'd like to have a more in-depth look at it if that's possible.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I do want to say, I attended several meetings, and I want to thank you for, putting all your time into this. And I think it's going to be good to give us a roadmap for our city. I think a lot of things that we are already kind of doing, but now I think it will get more evidence for the community to support certain things that we already have. And so, I look forward to trying to fulfill this and following it, and I expect good things to come out of it. So thank you for all your time.
Thank you. And I do know from the participation that just even beyond your council, you're going to be working with many people, many portions of the city, the offices and the other committees, in order to be able to get this in play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll close the public hearing at this time. Thank you. That's what I got here.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the City of Clarksburg amending sections 5, 25, and 38 of the city charter.
I do have one point of inquiry, I guess more for the city attorney, Mr. Marsh. I'm guessing any type of amendment we do put forward here in the next part of the discussion with item B, or is it going to be for item C, or is it going to be for item D?
It's on the first one.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Items C and D would be unchanged from the amendment we discussed.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So moved. Second.
That's a discussion.
Yeah, we'll not skip the discussion, Will, absolutely. It's been moved and second. We'll have discussion, and I'll start down on this end. James? Will?
This has been ongoing for several weeks, months. Sitting up here, sometimes mistakes are made. Mistakes have been made in the past. I'm sure they'll be made in the future. And sometimes the people up here have to accept that and fix them. And that's what we're here to do. I don't particularly like it, but there was obviously some glaring omissions from the original charter amendment. Failed to include the water board, and here we are. Here's what we need to fix it. So I'll let other people discuss what they want to discuss, but I'm want to offer an amendment at least to fix the one typo. So.
Okay. Jerry?
I don't have much to say either, but I appreciate everybody's time in putting this together. Our city attorney, water board city attorney, Mr. Amon, and Secretary of State giving their opinion. I respect all their opinions, and I will follow their lead, and that's all I have to say.
Wayne?
Just on a procedural move, I'm going to make a motion that we amend Section 5A to where it reads 4 members, or the 4 members elected in the June 2021 election will serve a term of 4 years The city shall hold an election in June of 2025 for those 4 membership positions. Those 4 membership positions shall be on the ballot at such election pursuant to the procedures set forth in this charter. Such members elected in June of 2025 will serve for a 1-year term. At that time, the 4 membership positions will be reduced to 3, and only 3 members will be elected in the May 2026 and subsequent elections. Such members elected in May 2026 or subsequent elections will serve a term of 4 years. And that's a motion.
Further discussion on,
We need a second if there's going to be further discussion.
Second.
Okay, discussion on the amendment.
I'd like to add, if that's the route we want to take, I'd just like to remind this body that, and the people who are here, that that'll force us to have 4 elections in a row. 2 will be held by the city, and 2 will be held by the county. I personally feel that that's a little much. I feel that the original ordinance proposed meets the requirements of the bond council. And again, you're going to have 4 elections in a row. 2 of them are going to be for 1-year terms that'll be held by the city, and 2 of them will be held by the county. And I'm looking at that. From what Annette tells me, the cost of a municipal election here is $20,000 a piece. So here we're going to add $40,000 to elections we don't really need to have. Personally, I feel that the ordinance meets the requirements of the bond council. And I know we've discussed it ad nauseum at this point, but we need to do what's right, and we're here to fix it. And I believe that since it meets the requirements of the bond council, we need to move on. And if the Secretary of State or the Attorney General says no, the 2021 candidates can't do it either, I'm willing to sit down and rehash it again. And that way we could have a 3-year term, like Mr. Lane has mentioned, and what the Water Board will be doing, in their election, to have a 3-year term to meet it up with the even years. I think there's better ways to go about it than to shovel money into a furnace for having these 1-year terms. I don't like the 1-year terms. I don't. But if that's what we need to do to meet the requirements of bond council, I'm okay with it. They've put forward an idea that we'll have 1-year term as bad as it sounds, to have a 1-year term this time around, and the 2021 members will get that 5-year term, which I'm not going to sit here and argue about. But going this route is going to be confusion. It's going to be costly, and I just don't think it's the right direction for the city. Thanks.
thank you.
I had discussion. The reason for this amendment is because the original language in this measure is for the 4 members in elected June of 2021 to serve a term of 5 years. I just feel, and based upon discussions that we had even in the work session prior to, this amendment right here will not only satisfies the bond council, but also will satisfy the Secretary of State's, would also be proper for the Secretary of State's office. My thing is, I'd rather just satisfy the bond council so we could move on with this water project and satisfy what is proper within the Secretary of State. Now, we could either do this tonight, or we could do this later on, but I feel like we should do this tonight. Just, clean all this up and move on. So.
Thank you, Lane. Gary?
I mean, I don't really have much. I was pretty strongly against this. I'd actually hired an attorney and was ready to stop this if we did it. I still don't really think we're doing it the right way. I think what we're creating is a special election. I don't think it would have had 2/3 vote. But we get into this thing with the water board, and I hate that the water board got involved like this. And I think this bond is just too big for us to have a petty argument over. I mean, Richard wrote these amendments, and I trust Richard, and I think what we did was correct. And I feel kind of bad that we're about to go against what the voters voted for. But looking at it, trying to go up and look at it from 32,000 feet here, And look at $96 million. It's just not worth the fight, I don't think. So I will support this. And I do agree with Wayne. If we're going to fix it, we just need to go ahead and fix it all, because, maybe that this pleases the bond council right now, but we've had other discussions about other bodies not being pleased with this possibly, or laws not being able to pass, or people being able to sue us over things we change. I mean, it's not worth the hassle. I think what we came in and changed these charter amendments, we had very good intentions. And we're still going to achieve those things. It's just maybe we approached it a little too brazen. Not thinking about the water board election was not very smart. I'm not sure how we missed that. But anyway, that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Well, I think it's kind of ironic that we say that we trust our city attorney's judgment on this, and he's the one that wrote the charter change. Correct? You're the one that drafted the change, correct?
In association with the city manager and previous council, yes.
So we were advised by our legal counsel, correct? Just like the water board's being advised by their legal counsel.
Yes.
This council was advised by you on that change.
Richards also said he
that was not my decision.
Richards also said
that
he
was
still
not
thinks
my
he's right,
decision.
and
That
he
was
could
not
win.
my proposal. I did not write that charter change. You also said you would defend that, correct?
That's correct.
That it was something that you feel is in good standing and that you would defend it. Now, here's the thing. I don't have a problem correcting it. That's fine. Not a problem. We can do that. Do what we need to. I mean, I'll vote against it, but we can do that. Because I went off of what you advised me as advising counsel, not my own decision. And then 70% of the voters said, what's going on here needs changed. The stuff that's occurring with the election is hogwash, and it needs changed. They disagreed with, we had total chaos with our elections. People won on drawing footballs. That's a problem. And the people in our city had an issue with that. So they went out and voted for the charter change because they believed in it. 70% voted for that. And if I wanted to benefit myself, I wouldn't have referendum and recall where we can, if we do something egregious on this council, like, appoint people to jobs they don't earn or they're not qualified for, make rooms in the back for a specially created position like deputy OEM at the county, then the people within our city can say, what you're doing isn't correct. And I will, with 10% signature of the voters, the registered voters in this city, I will come in and do something about it. Because the people that have sat in these seats have done some really dirty things, and nobody's patrolling it. And that was why I was for the charter change. And also, I didn't extend my time that I could sit here. Some people have sat in these seats for 20-some years. So that was why I was for the charter change, not for my own personal gain. So just so we're clear on that, and that you advised me as counsel, and I took that as word, because that's what we're doing tonight. We're taking council's word that this is what we should be doing. We have to make it right. Even though, we split hairs on what's right and wrong up here. We split hairs on that. But hopefully the people in this city will stay woke. They'll stay woke to what some of the council members here want to do. That's all I have to say.
Well, I usually don't have much to say, but I have a lot to say about this issue. First of all, why this came about wasn't to extend council's term, because getting another year is not my plan, not my goal. That's the way it came up with our city attorney, drafted it up. That's how it came out. It's just, you had to do something. And Chris said maybe we should have taken 1 year less. That might even been a better one. I don't know. We're going on the advice of the attorney. So he drafted it up, and that's what we went with. And the reason why is that when I ran in 2019, you talk about a debacle of an election. There was a 38 vote difference between the number 3 guy and the number 6 or 7 guy. It was 38 votes down. I asked the clerk at that time, can they make up 38? But I don't think so. So we went to the canvassing. In the canvassing, they found 30 votes. 30 votes. So this puts this guy that was 6th, it puts him into 4th place. So we have a recount. Again, I went to the clerk. 8 votes. Only 1,700 people voted out of 10,000. We only had a 17% turnout. Not many. You shouldn't have that kind of mistakes. But you know what? It ended up, you had to pick a football out of a basket to win. Thinking, the voters came to me and said, what in the world's going on up there? Not to mention that we got paper ballots that are annotated back in the 50s. We still do the paper ballots. People, you vote for 3. They vote for 4 or 5. They mark out. And we have to have an old person like me determine who do they really want to vote for. Ridiculous. You get electronic ballot and you can only vote for 3. I'm not saying that thing's perfect. I'm sure there's mistakes there, but it's not a debacle like we're doing at City Hall. And the people said, we don't want that. As Lily said, 70% of the people came out and said, we don't want that in City Hall anymore. But yet, the charter is our Constitution of the United States. The city charter is our Constitution. We are going to let 4 people on this council change what the voters, the 1,700 or how many came the last time, we're going to change by these 4 votes on this council. And I want the people to watch this closely. We're going to change what the voters in Clarksburg, I don't care about the bond count, the secretaries, this all started with a letter from the Secretary of State. It was an opinion, not fact. If it's wrong, change it. Take us to court and change it. Tell us what we need to do. Not let us decide we can do X, Y, and Z. Some people, the 2021 should have their 5 years. Well, no, maybe they shouldn't. We're picking and choosing what we want. Now, if you want to pick what the Secretary of State says, they said do 1 and 1, but no, that would put me to have to run another year. So I don't want to do that. But it's okay for the 2019 people to do it, but I'm not going to do it. It's kind of ludicrous. We're going to change the charter by vote up here. What's next? The charter's put in the 50s. It's our law. It's what we go by. It's what we have to go by. That's what the people said back in the 50s when they drafted this charter. We tried to update it, make changes, but when we tried to update it, we did it the right way. We put it out to the people to vote on, not this group. I don't want this group deciding what the charter is going to say, but apparently you guys want to decide what the people wanted to vote for. I'm not going to decide what they want. They spoke loud and clear on what they wanted. But I guess if that's what you guys want to do, I want the people to see that you're here representing the 10,000 people, even if they didn't vote. You're here representing the 10,000 people, but it don't seem like you want to hear what they had to say because they voted on it. If it's wrong, the water board says it's wrong, draft a suit. Make us do the right thing. I'm in favor of that. Our attorney says he did the right thing. We did the right thing. We drafted. I want to listen to my attorney. If I wouldn't want to listen to the water board's attorney, I'll run for the water board the next time. I ran for this city council. That's who I want to listen to. Every attorney, they got their own opinion. You know what they're like? Never mind. But anyway, the voters spoke. The city hall, I don't want to run this next time. And I'm not, believe me, I'll run. I'll get my votes. I'll go out there and work like I did the last time. I'm not scared to do that. But should I have to? I'll do it. I'll sign up for it. Give me the sign-up sheet. But should I have to? The voters said they don't want these elections held in City Hall, and I don't want them held in City Hall. It's proven that it's not run right. It's not accurate, and it's a fact. All you had to do is come and watch the recount that Gary was involved in. Total debacle. Total debacle. If we had electronic ballots, we wouldn't have been here for hours and days doing this stuff. The ballot boxes are in the back. They say, how did that change like that? How did they get all those different ballots that weren't counted? Your big guess is as good as mine. I don't have confidence in it. I know I don't, and they didn't have. And I'm listening to the voters. I'm not listening to myself. I'm listening to what the voters said. I got a base out there. I'll get my votes. I'm not concerned about running when it's right, when it's done, not an opinion letter, not the water board saying they want it. I want the voters to tell me, not you guys, but that's what you want to do, and that's what we'll do. I still think this is a special election. It takes 2/3 votes, but they know that won't get it. So it's going to be unanimous. It's got to be 4-3, and they can get it at that. So we'll have a special election. I still want that looked into. We weren't scheduled for an election. What do you call an election that's not scheduled? Is that not a special election? But I'll let the attorney, that's what we're paying him to determine, not me. But this is totally, I want the citizens to be aware of what's going on here. They kind of want at least 2 of us, maybe 3 of us off here. But that's not going to work. That only makes my resolve even more like I ran the first time. I'll run this time, and I'll get on this council. They're not going to get me off by saying, you got to run again. I'm good with it. I got those people out there that I listen to. Apparently, this council doesn't listen, or all of us don't listen to it. But I listen to what those voters want. That's where I'm at. But again, we'll go on. Wayne made that.
I got one point to make. The voters will still get what they want. It'll be pushed down the road. But I know one thing for sure: the voters will definitely will not want lead water pipes. So we will listen to the voters, and we will help them out by making sure we do not get in that way. So the voters would be, I guarantee, if they voted again, they would be worrying about water and lead in their water pipes. Maybe you don't think so. I think they would. But they also will get what they want. Sure. Because I agree that bigger voter turnout is good for our city. They will get that. We're just cleaning up, getting it right, and we're not getting in the way of this huge infrastructure project, maybe the biggest in the state's history. We're not going to get in the way of that because of our egos. I'm not, and that's why I'm.
Well, it's a simple thing, Jerry.
Very simple.
The bond count, I want to listen to the voters. I don't want to listen to what people are saying, an opinion letter and so forth. It's a simple thing. They go across the street. They file suit. If I'm told to do it, the voters, I'll explain that to the voters. I can't explain us making that determination based on an opinion letter. I can't do that. There's a process. It's called a legal process, and it could be done immediately. I'm sure they got the letter drafted up, ready to go across the street. They've talked about this. They know the possibility this is not going to pass. They got a letter drafted to go across the street tomorrow. We could address it with the courts, and I don't have any problem with it. I'm going by what our attorney says. He said I drafted a good plan for us. I drafted good charter amendments, and I'm going to go against. Why are we paying him? Why is he giving us opinions? Why are we doing that? That's all I want to know. I want the people to know we're paying for these opinions, and you're going to go against his opinion. He said, I'm comfortable with what we've done.
Mr. Mayor, we could absolutely fight it, and I believe we could win, but we're talking about $96 million.
Again.
Do you have another source of that money if we screw this up?
I don't think we're going to. If we're wrong, they're going to go across the street and beat us. They're going to go and do it. But I'm going to end this conversation. Let's move on. We had an amendment by
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to call the question on the amendment of section 5A that I made.
Okay, we got an amendment. We got
I think we had a motion in a second.
a vote in a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will Hyman.
No.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm gonna change that. You guys got me all flustered up here.
I'm confused too.
What is it?
You need a motion to amend the amendment, because we need to fix it.
A motion to amend amendment what Wayne had proposed, right?
To section 25, you need,
Section 25, subsection A, change June of 2026 to May of 2000.
I was going to offer that amendment. Wayne offered an amendment to
section 5A.
section 5 that would include one-year terms for 2019 and 2021 members.
Right, but I think if you're voting on Wayne's amendment at this time, I guess you could do a second round.
That's how I was going to do it. As soon as this vote is
That's
over.
fine.
So where we at?
Vote on Wayne's amendment, and then we can, if you're gonna accept the amendment for consideration, and then you can amend again, and then vote on your final decision.
Okay, the vote for that?
No.
It's been moved and second.
No.
No? Okay, no. Go ahead, everybody. You just-
No.
Yeah.
Well, let me do the
She
roll
got
call.
to do the roll call.
Do the roll call. Start it.
Will Hyman.
No.
Gary Keith.
Yes.
Jim Alphajo.
No.
Jerry Riffle.
Yes.
Wayne Worth.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jenkins.
No.
Mayor Marino.
No. What is it?
4-3. 4 noes, 3 yeses.
Okay, so it fails.
The amendment fails.
The amendment fails.
I'd like to offer an amendment, a motion that we move to amend. Oh, give me a second here. I'm sorry, I'm lost. Section 25, letter A, where it says such membership position shall be on ballot for election June 2026. Such member elected in June of 2026 or subsequent elections will be served a term of 4 years. Strike June and insert May where June is at, which would make the election fall on May, the May primary, as was intended in the charter amendments. That's the only typo that I saw, with the exception of the aspect of the mayor aspect that I believe that was squashed back at conference. So my amendment is to insert May over top of June in letter A in section 25.
So it will still be just, you'll have a 5-year for the 2021s?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you just voted for. That's what I'm saying. I think we had confusion there. I almost feel like we need to redo that vote.
That's not.
Oh, yeah.
No, Wayne's motion was to have 1-year terms for 2019 and 2021.
I believe the mayor announced that was Wayne's motion up for vote.
Yeah, so then we go back to the original.
Back to the original motion, but Mr. Hyman made a motion to amend section 25A to clean up the language from May 2026 to June of 2020, or I'm sorry, June 2026 to May 2026.
Oh, I'm not for the just for a 5-year term, so.
Well, that's fine. Let's vote.
Okay.
We already voted.
We already voted.
For that one
We
amendment.
voted for the amendment. We did not vote for the original.
That's not what I interpreted. I'm sorry.
Wayne's
Yes.
amendment said
So it
2019,
included-
2021, each got 4 years and added an
Election.
extra election.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we.
And I voted against that, yeah.
So now we go back to the
Oh
original.
my gosh, this is.
Go back to the original, and Mr. Hyman
Yeah,
made a
so
motion to
Wayne,
amend
right,
section
right back
25A.
here. Let's keep going.
Okay.
The motion that I made is to strike June and insert May on
On a typo.
On the typo. That's what I motioned.
And I second that.
There we go.
This is just for the typo?
Yes, just
Yes,
Okay, yeah, well.
section 25A.
I'm for it, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have that.
Oh my.
Now let's go on.
Let's go back to the original motion on the floor. I'm not the chairman.
Go ahead, the original motion from Will.
Well, it's been moved and seconded. It's up for a vote.
Been moved and seconded.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? No.
Somebody say no?
Yeah.
Will Hyman.
Aye.
Gary Keith.
Aye.
Jim Malfajo.
Aye.
Jerry Riffle.
Aye.
Wayne Worth.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jenkins.
No.
Mayor Murphy.
No.
Motion is amended carried. Consideration of first reading of an ordinance regarding charter amendments and elections.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion, we've had enough discussion, I guess. But discussion? There being none? We had a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No.
No.
Will Hyman.
Aye.
Gary Keith.
Yes.
Jim Malfajo.
Aye.
Jerry Riffle.
Yes.
Wayne Worth.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jenkins.
No.
Mayor Murphy.
No.
Motion carries. Consideration of a resolution authorizing the city clerk of the city of Clarksburg to undertake all necessary and appropriate actions in preparation for a city election to be held on June 6, 2023, with respect to the proposed amendments to the charter of the city of Clarksburg, the election of 3 seats on city council of the city of Clarksburg for terms of 1 year, the election of 1 seat on the Clarksburg Water Board for a term of 3 years, and the staggering of terms of office of the members of the Clarksburg Water Board as may be appropriate in order to align such terms to coincide with the same date as the regularly scheduled statewide primary election and other matters relating thereto.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second, discussion. Again, I want to stress that I don't want that election held in City Hall. If there's any way that it could be moved to the county with having electronic ballots instead of these paper ballots, I definitely want that looked into by our city attorney, if that's at all possible. Okay, it's been moved in second. All in
I'd
favor?
like to add some discussion, just real quick, just reiterate what I said earlier. What we're doing here is gonna keep everything on schedule. We're gonna insert a 1-year term for the next election, which, I don't like it. I really don't. But to satisfy the bond council, and I believe it satisfies the requirements of the Secretary of State, we have to move on. I'm sorry, but,
Does that satisfy the citizens who voted
I
in
believe
here?
it ends to the same, resolution that the citizens voted on, yes.
Okay. Okay, the move, is any more
Push
discussion?
back 1 year?
Okay,
Or add 1 year?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Opposed?
You saying that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Will Hyman.
Aye.
Gary Keith.
Aye.
Jim Malfajo.
Aye.
Jerry Riffle.
Aye.
Wayne Worth.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jenkins.
No.
Mayor Murray.
No.
Motion carries. Consideration of a resolution to adopt the 2022 comprehensive plan.
Mr. Mayor, I move we table this and revisit it at a work schedule and move it maybe hopefully to the next agenda or maybe into March.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Consideration of the payment of the sum of $28,362 to Gene Papa for the sidewalk replacement on 6th Street.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in discussion?
I mentioned back in the back that I proposed, and Mr. Papa's here, so I guess I'll address you. I propose to council that we sit back down and draft a document that all parties would agree on. And I know, obviously, you've agreed on it already. Our former city manager is no longer here. So I was hoping maybe we could sit down again, draft a document, say, we're going to pay for the sidewalk, and you would agree to it, and we would agree to it, and we can make this happen. That didn't happen, though, unfortunately, and I can't vote for it. I'm sorry. If there was some way we could maybe table it and revisit it with a document, I know that wasn't really discussed either, but until then, I can't support it. I'm sorry.
Any more discussion?
I understand your point, Will. I see this as an agreement by putting it on here. And this is our agreement. It's public and this is the way we agreed to it. It's just the same, I think the same end to what you're saying, but I think it's just getting it done now, and I don't know, that's just how I see it.
Well, when we look back in the records, whether it's 5, 10, 50, 100 years, if we make it that long, there's going to be this asterisk in our documents for a sidewalk replacement on 6th Street for Mr. Papa that has real no verbiage or resolution wise or anything that, it just says basically we cut a check to Mr. Papa. Again, I believe what he's doing over there is great. I don't have a problem with that. I just would rather have it, for posterity's sake, a document that says all parties agreed on, not a handshake in a back room with the former city manager. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I definitely disagree how it came to be, but after it was discussed and we got paperwork and we got numbers and, and once we were finally notified, council, then it came to an agreement at that point, and I think it's where we're at now.
Why not just draft up a document and have it signed so it's a matter of record?
That's what I proposed, but it's okay.
Okay.
I had a question. It's just, for legal counsel on this measure. Is a consideration of payment, is that proper, or does that have to be done through a resolution?
You would normally want a resolution, but you don't have to you have your paperwork on here based upon Mr. Brown's statement. I mean, I do agree with Councilman Hyman that you probably want a resolution or you want something to memorialize that in that situation. I think you can do it by resolution, not ordinance. At least you can do a resolution to approve the city manager and enter into the agreement.
Would that be what would satisfy?
I think it would suffice as long as Mr. Papa would agree to sit down and sign it. I think that's what I'm looking for. I'm sorry, I'm trying to not white knight it here and everything, but
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Papa.
Yeah, and I think the mistakes were made on our end, not his. We just need to.
I certainly agree there. I don't disagree.
I certainly don't have a problem waiting and signing an agreement. I certainly know what happened in the room. We have other people that was in the room, so as long as it is in line with what was said and what was promised by
I think we can make that work.
City manager, I have no problem waiting and signing off on a document.
Would that be appropriate if everybody on here agrees we do a resolution that goes on to our next agenda and have that taken care of?
That would be fine.
Well, then I motion to table this until we can.
There's been a motion to table.
I'll second the motion to table it, just to get the resolution. I mean, I want Mr. Papa to be reimbursed. I just want to do it the right way.
If that's.
I've always wanted to make sure it's all in the right way. I mean, again, this is my first large project I've done in the city of Clarksburg. I certainly don't want to, have any animosity, hard feelings on either side of it happening. So if that's what you guys feel that we need to do is have the document and have it signed, absolutely. I can certainly wait for that.
Well, that sounds good. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Consideration of 2 appointments to the Clarksburg Visitors Bureau.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we appoint 2 members of the Clarksburg Visitors Bureau, one Miss Kim Drummond and one Mr. Louis Ramirez.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Council comments?
Start down there with Councilman Malthajette.
Oh, thanks, man.
You're first this time.
See something, say something, folks. Pick up the phone, dial 911. Please check on your elderly neighbors, especially after tomorrow evening, because it's getting down to 9 degrees. And, open your kitchen cabinets and let your sink get air. And everybody have a nice weekend. Thanks for coming.
Great. Councilman Riffle.
I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow we have First Fridays. The theme this month is Love and Chocolate. A lot of great things. And it's going to be cold out there, but we're going to have the Senior Citizen Center is going to actually provide a bus. It's going to be going around the city, dropping people off different locations. We got the Gore Building. We have the Harris County Senior Citizen Center. There's a sweet tart dance for kids 12 and under. There's actually the kid's a DJ B. Haas. He's going to be like 11. He's 11 years old. He's going to be DJing. So we're continuing to be unique and change things up and just continue to bring entertainment and spread it through downtown. I want to thank everybody on the committee. First Fridays to continuing this. Thank Public Works and all the city that helped make this happen. I'm looking forward to it. And tomorrow night we have, at the Robinson Grand, Anthony Nunziato is going to. I think I might have said his name wrong, but he's a great talent, but really the thing is that we're going to have some local talent. Benjamin DeFazio and Marissa Bailey are going to be there opening up for them. So it's always great for our local talent to be on that stage. That building is for our community, and it's great. It's great to give our people an opportunity to get up there and show their talents. And those two are amazing. And not to forget Amici, which is everybody's local favorite band. So anytime you get them a stage, you get the people in Clarksburg excited, you get them all out there, and our community comes together. So that's a segue to I'm glad that we're getting these things done, and I'm glad we work with the water board and get this project happening, and just want to come together. Everybody, that's how we're going to move forward. Is everybody's got to come together and do this, and I think that's what we're doing. And excited to get back to work on real things that the city needs, rather than just cleaning up things and just I really want to get back to work. And as Chief of Police has noticed, I've been in his office about 5 times this week about other things, and just I'll slow down a little bit, but ready to get back to work, and I hope the rest of the council is too. We got to get a lot of things done, and our citizens are counting on us to do that. So that's all I got. Have a good weekend.
Councilman Worth?
Yeah, I appreciate everyone coming out, and we definitely had a very full agenda, and very spirited debate, and I guess that's part of the process, part of the government process. And when it comes to relations to the charter amendments, and especially Section 5, which seems to be the big thing. I opposed an amendment because I felt that constitutionally, through the Secretary of State, it was just proper to not extend my term another year. Now that failed, and that's okay. That's part of the process, and down the road we may have to clean that up. But I do like the fact that we're taking the right steps, to the first step to start cleaning some of that up, and I do like the fact that we're taking the right steps now to make sure this water project, happens. Because that's really amazing. That's really important. $98 million, to fix our lead water lines is extremely important. And we just want to make sure that, that what we do, in our terms up here, when it comes to elections, are legitimate. So these projects can happen. And that's, that's just that. Have a happy first Friday, and we'll see you the next go around.
Councilman Key?
Well, I don't think there's anything else to be said by me for the election thing, but I'm pretty angry right this second. I was planning on coming here and being professional and not saying too much. We have a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes here. A lot of things I'm angry about. The vice mayor kind of already took a pot shot at me for no reason, so it's kind of on. I did something I feel like was very above the board in my personal life, nothing to do with the city, a while back. And now that they're mad at me, they try to turn that around and retell the story, not how it happened. Now, if anybody's interested in hearing that story, I'd be glad to tell it to you. I already put it in writing, put it out on the internet, and sent it to the ethics board, but it still likes to try to be turned around. And unfortunately, with the order of council comments here, I don't get to speak last. So instead, I'm just going to say that. And now I'm going to get up and walk out of here, and I'm not going to pay these fools the respect of sitting here listening to them. And next week, I'm going to introduce a resolution to remove the mayor, because I, along with the rest of these guys, I'm pretty sure, are pretty much tired of the way we're being treated here. And that's it.
A resolution?
Thank you very much. Y'all have a nice evening.
Thank you for your comments. Good luck with that. Who's next down here? Will?
I already spoke.
You spoke. Councilman Hyman?
I'd like to first congratulate John and Brittany for their hard work securing those grants for the Safe Streets and Roads. Looking forward to seeing that. Good job. got to attend the swearing in ceremony of our newest firefighter and promotions of our police officers to lieutenant. And then we had, I believe, 2 sergeants. That was great. You know, it was really packed in here, as most people I've ever seen in here. It was a great, well, maybe not tonight, but yeah, it was a great experience. Great to see these guys get promoted and keep Clarksburg safe. I don't remember hearing about Lieutenant Jeff Rogers' retirement, so congratulate him on 25 years of service with the fire department. That's great news. Congratulations to him. Looking forward to First Friday and the dance at the senior center. I know that sounds kind of hokey, but I'll be there with the kid, dancing the night away. You know, going back to what I'd said earlier about the charter amendments and the rigmarole that ensued. Again, I'm going to be the first to say it, or second to say it, because I already did say it. You know, sometimes mistakes are made, and regardless of who sits up here, we have to fix them. And it may be quick and painless. It may be ugly and, you know, and painful. But you know, I think we did the right thing. And if it becomes an issue regarding Mr. Wart's comments, if it becomes an issue, I'm happy to revisit it and move with 3-year terms like the water board did. I don't see why that's, and Mr. Lane suggested, I don't see why that's can't work for us if it comes down to it. But you know, again, I think it's, you know, it's a learning lesson that we just had to experience the hard way. But I'm glad we can move on. Hopefully, move on. That being said, have a great weekend. Stay warm. And, we'll see you next week, I guess, for budget talks. We got budget talks.
Thank you, Councilman. Vice Mayor?
Oh, there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes. You know, it's funny. It's kind of ironic that we get real mad when we get called out on things we shouldn't do. And I'm here for the people of Clarksburg. That's why I'm here. I'm not here for me, my own personal gain. And, you know, when things occurred that are corrupt, I mean, I don't know what else you call it. You know, when you're making deals with Patsy Treecost about a job he's creating for you. And I mean, you're even going as far as to say that I had a long-standing request to Patsy that he helped me find another position in the county if something became available that I was qualified for, because I was burned out with working at 911. We agreed that this job would be perfect for me. We even discussed that he would try to make the pay scale for the position at or near what I make currently to deter some of the people above me from applying for it, because they would have to take a pay cut. So this would make it a little easier for me to get the promotion with less competition. Those are his words, not mine. He put them out on everywhere, Facebook, everywhere. That's corrupt. It's dirty. Just like wanting to give your friend a job that they're not qualified for, that they don't even meet the minimum requirements for. That's dirty. And I'm against that kind of stuff. It's wrong. And if this council is for it, then do it. For dirty things. If they're for that, then do it. Then do that. But I will call you out every time. I'm not afraid. Not afraid. No, my time isn't up. Sadly mistaken. You can keep trying. It's not up. I'll sit here all day and talk if I want to. The things like that have occurred in this city have killed this city. For years, it's occurred in this city. These kinds of things. You give me a job, I'll give you one. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Well, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it. It's not all right. It's corrupt. I'm not splitting hairs with whether it's corrupt or not corrupt. It is. And the people of this city know it. That's why they voted for us. because they wanted the people that were doing those disgustingly corrupt things out. They wanted them out. And I knew this would be a hard fight, and that people would ride on coattails to come in and act like that they agreed with your way of thinking until they got here, and then they would continue the corruption. Well, I'm not going to sit back and let you get away with it without people knowing. So that's all I have to say.
Well, this has been a highly debated meeting. I've said enough. I think people out there, hopefully this sounds good and the people watch us. And I want to share it with a lot of people because it is what it is. I just want to do right and do the right thing. And it's hard, as Lily said. When we came into this in 2019, nobody said it would be easy, and it certainly wasn't. I would think we were trying to change a culture that had been around for a long time. And when you try and change a culture, you're stepping on people's toes, no question about it. And we have done that. But really, to being elected, if you just try to do the right thing. And when you do that, you go out with your head up high. All I know is when we came in here 3.5 years ago, this city was a mess. The police department, the code department, from the top down, we promised change, and we did that. And that's all I could say. If I left today, I'm happy with what we've accomplished. With that being said, I'm not going to keep going on and on. We're doing what we're trying to do and do the right thing. I thank everybody for coming out tonight, and this is what government does. We have agreements and disagreements, and at the end of the day, 4 votes win, and that's fine. That's how it is. I walk out with my head high, even though I'm on the losing side. That's fine. I'm for the people. People see, so that's the main thing. But thanks everybody for coming out, and I got to entertain a motion.
Oh, no, let's just stay another hour and a half. Somebody order dinner. Motion
The
to
city will
adjourn.
cover it.
Second. Then moved and second, all in favor?
Yeah.